Hey everyone, welcome to Off the Top Rope here on the Off the Mic Sports Network. I'm Mike Mayer. We're reviewing SmackDown here, the September 27th edition. We are just 8 days away from Bad Blood in Atlanta, so very exciting times. This has been a really well built pay per view, premium live event, and it's just, SmackDown has gotten better. Even from the times that Roman Reigns isn't there, since SummerSlam, this show has gotten a lot better near the tail end of its time on Fox, and now especially the first few episodes on USA have all been really good. A lot of good storyline points, and even though Roman Reigns wasn't there, his presence was absolutely felt because a lot of the stories within this show fed into what the big match and what could potentially be a main event. If you want to go watch my video about what I think should be the main event, I kind of used a cop out. But it's getting very interesting in terms of a debate of who should main event between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, and obviously the Bloodline and Cody Rhodes tag team match. Really, just it's Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. But a lot fed into this, and I actually really like that about this show. Cody has really been a central character, even though he's not really focused on the championship right now. He's focused on other business. It's good storytelling from week to week, and there's not as many dull points as there have been in the past. It's still been a good show, but it's just it's felt like without Roman Reigns for the longest time, this show has just kind of just been moving along, and Raw has just been up at a different level, and I think that's why a lot of people look down at SmackDown. But let's run through it here. Really solid show. Randy Orton opens it. He opens the show, gets a huge ovation from the crowd in Oklahoma City. He said it's been a minute since he had to take care of some business on the Raw, but he had missed being in a SmackDown ring. He then said he had been in the business a long time and can count on one hand the number of people that he can trust. He said Cody Rhodes was one of those people. He said they've known each other a long time and know each other very well. And he basically called Cody's choice of to partner up with Roman Reigns disappointing, and it didn't sit right with him. He said he was hoping for an explanation and asked Cody to come to the ring. Cody did his whole routine. He did his whole, hey, so what do you want to talk about? So he said perhaps he looked like a fool for teaming with Roman Reigns. And he questioned, basically said whether you'd better to be looked like a fool or a coward. He then said Roman gave him his word and gave some examples of Roman giving his word, which included, winning the first time around, going away after losing the second go around. It was a good promo from Cody. He then went on to say that he would take Roman at his word and that it was time for the Bloodline to be killed. He then said he hoped with all sincerity it wouldn't be a problem for him. Randy said it wouldn't unless it made it a problem. Unless he made it a problem, Cody. Kevin Owens then comes out. He tries to give his 2 cents, but before he can even speak, Solo Sikoa's music hits. Solo said the three of them standing in the ring saves him a lot of trouble. He then demanded Oklahoma City to acknowledge him to a chorus of boos because he's the knockoff tribal chief. Solo then said he would acknowledge the fact that Roman gave Cody his word. He said then he should trust him because he would need him since the two men he's standing in the ring with could never get the job done against the Bloodline. Solo said that the reason he would team up with Roman Reigns is because whenever he's tried to take down the Bloodline with those two, he's failed. Kevin Owens then piped up and said nobody cares what he has to say and told him to shut up. He then challenged Solo and Jacob to a tag team match. Cody tried to make it a 6-man tag. Cody said, no offense, but you already have a partner and you have a match of Bad Blood. So it's going to be me and Randy versus Solo and Jacob tonight. And I really love that because you're planting seeds of tension. And that's really what the key of the last few weeks, and even going back to Bash in Berlin, this has been a really low-key, really well-built storyline. And then you add in the element of Cody teaming with Roman Reigns. It's really good stuff. Roman's presence, even when he's not there, but when he's involved in storylines and he's not being like he was off television for 4 months when he left after WrestleMania. But when he is on television and a central figure, even though he's not featured there, like I said, he was in a video package. He was in a video package that was one of the greatest video packages ever, and it wrecked the entire show. And it was all on Kevin Owens' mind. And then the same thing happened this week, and it'll play out through the course of the show, but I really that show long storyline was really well done, and it was really well illustrated. So So then we show back last week when Bayley and Naomi both pinned Nia Jax simultaneously. Nia was just incredulous at how Naomi and how that her and Tiffany were unable to beat Naomi and Bayley. So Tiffany tried to apologize, but Nia grabbed her by the throat, told her if this ends up badly for her, it would end up even worse for her. Nia walked off. Stratton kind of looked kind of pissed off. They're really leaning heavy, and they're laying on thick with Nia being a bully to kind of get Tiffany to reach her breaking point in terms of, when she's going to cash in that briefcase. And whenever it happens, it's going to be a monster pop, and it's going to be a big moment for Tiffany. So I like where this is going. So then we get the number one contenders match. So this was fine. This was fine. It was a good match. Bayley and Naomi worked pretty well together. It's just like I don't think this match needed to happen. I think they would have been fine just doing the triple threat and using that double pin as an excuse. So it was a little weird. Naomi gets tied up in the ropes. Bayley delivers a springboard elbow drop near the end of this half. Naomi ended up on the floor a moment later. Bayley goes for a suicide dive through over the bottom rope underneath the second rope, which was nasty. Naomi lands a rear view out of nowhere for a near fall as Bayley's trying to get back in the ring. Naomi gets a head scissors driver, which looks sick for another near fall. She then climbed the ropes, lands a blockbuster for a 2. Bayley then reversed a suplex attempt, dropped Naomi with a facebuster. She then attempted to go for a sunset flip into the turnbuckles, but it didn't go really well. Corey Graves did his best to sell, that sell that there was an issue there and like that Bayley kind of overcommitted. So yeah, it was a good cover up. There was a lot of issues early on in the show production wise too that I need to mention after that I get through this match. So then Bayley goes for the Bayley belly, but Naomi avoids it. Sends her face first into the turnbuckles. Naomi goes up top, misses whatever it was she had to roll through. Bayley hits the Bayley to belly and a flying elbow for the win. I can't even remember the last time Bayley won with an elbow. It's usually been the roast plant, which isn't that great of a finisher. Bayley to belly used to be, but Bayley to belly elbow drop for the win. Bayley beats Naomi. We get a rematch of SummerSlam at Bad Blood. It might not be a popular decision, but I like where this is going. Bayley kind of got screwed over at SummerSlam. It was really the Tiffany Stratton play, so you might be seeing a similar type finish, but maybe it goes differently, and Tiffany maybe makes this a triple threat, and maybe we get the cash in. I don't know, but it's nonetheless very interesting that they went back to Bayley. I would have liked to see this as a triple threat, even if they ran this match and did another non-finish. So it was just a little bit odd the way that they planned this out. But I do need to mention this before we move on. There was a ton of issues tonight, and they were easily avoidable, and I don't know how they slipped through the cracks. Cody's music hit early on in this show. It went dark. The screen, his music hit, his Tron wasn't up there. They had to pan to Randy to cover it up on television, but you could clearly see this. And then the most glaring thing that happened, at least on the production side, was you could clearly see that Bayley's the damage control Tron was playing during Bayley's for the first moments of Bayley's entrance, which is a huge problem. And they changed it as quickly as they could, but man, whoever did that, man, you're probably getting fired. That just can't happen at this level for WWE, and it was very noticeable. It didn't really affect anything, but it was noticeable, and it's going to be nitpicked to death by a lot of people like me, and also maybe some AEW cultists who just want to nitpick everything, even though WWE's outperforming them at every turn. Okay, moving on. So after the match, Naomi is dejected, but she pats Bayley in the back. She then stared at her from the ramp looking angry. Bayley celebrates. So then we show a video of LA Knight beating Andrade last week. They show the awkward handshake that was awkward to a lot of people. People were like, what's going on here? So then backstage, Andrade's walking to the ring. He approaches Knight, tells him he had lost a lot of respect for him because he didn't shake his hand like a man. Before LA Knight could say anything, Carmelo Hayes just comes in out of nowhere and just decks Carmelo. He sends him tumbling over a bunch of equipment over a road case. He then told Andrade he had something for him too, and left for the ring. So it's Carmelo Andrade Part 6, and holy shit, these boys cooked again. Wonky finish aside, this was I understand why they did this finish. They needed to give Carmelo a cheap win. LA Knight's clearly involved in whatever this is going to. So, but man, I need this match was fantastic. Um, so Andrade stomps away at Hayes in the corner. He lines up for his Meteora in the corner, but Hayes avoids. Both men are on the apron, and Andrade manages to hit a power bomb, or not a power bomb, a power slam, just a rolling power slam, hitting him on the apron. It looked like Carmelo just landed right on his tailbone. It looked nasty. So we get a commercial. This got 3 segments, which tells you everything you need to know about how well these guys are performing. So LaMelo lands a springboard lariat covered for a 2. Both men trade punches, collided mid-ring before both of them leaving both of them down in the ring. Andrade managed to land a dragon screw leg whip, but Hayes replied with a first 48 that gets a near fall. Andrade crawled to the corner, and Hayes set up for his Meteor. Hayes set up for a Meteora mocking Andrade. Andrade avoided it. He lands a running lariat. He then followed up with his own version of a Meteora, covered for a near fall. Carmelo replied with a springboard into a really nasty-looking DDT. That gets a near fall. Andrade coming back from the break gets his massive-looking double moonsault, which always looks so good and so smooth, and yet so quick and sudden. It's just it's beautiful to just watch Andrade wrestle, and it literally, Carmelo's like the perfect wrestler to work with him. They work so well together, and you can just see in these 6 matches, it's just been unbelievable. So Andrade sells the frustration after Hayes kicks out. Andrade goes for the message, but Hayes reverses into a facebuster. And then a lift into a cutter for a near fall, but he gets a little too cocky, as Corey Graves points out on commentary, and so then Hayes goes up to the top rope. Andrade met him there, and they battled on the ropes. Andrade lined up for a superplex, but Hayes turned it into a top rope cutter for another close near fall. That didn't end it. That was sick. Hayes went back up to the top rope, and Andrade avoided the collision. And I immediately saw this happening when he came off the top rope. Andrade hits the back elbow, and fuck, man, like that needs to end a match at one point soon, man. It's such a sick move. Hayes falls out of the ring. LA Knight's music after a significant delay. You were wondering why Carmelo was sitting up against the barricade, or not against the barricade, up against the LED wall against the ring apron. So LA Knight runs down to the ring. Andrade tried to keep him from interfering in the match, but Hayes shoved Andrade into LA Knight and rolled up Andrade for the win. Carmelo Hayes gets match number 6. We're tied at 3. This was a near 17-minute premium live event level match with an interest, with a finish that made sense. It's a bullshit finish, but it's one of those bullshit finishes that you can be okay with given the story, especially the way they played it up before the match. They kind of telegraphed this a little bit and basically saying, hey, Andrade's not happy with LA Knight for the way he was treated after that match, the United States Championship match last week. And then Carmelo decking LA Knight obviously means LA Knight's a part of this. So, I mean, maybe we get a triple threat. Maybe match number 7 determines who gets the next shot at LA Knight. But this has been really, honestly, one of the best parts of SmackDown for the last couple of months. Like, these boys have just been hooping. It's awesome to watch these guys wrestle. After the match, Hayes just gets the hell out of there. Knight tried to offer Andrade a handshake now, but Andrade takes off and refuses him because he's like, man, you cost me the match. You didn't give me a handshake next week. It makes sense. And then we basically get we recap the whole opening segment with Kevin Owens challenging the Bloodline and refusing Cody's help. So Cody tries to approach Kevin and Randy in the locker room so he could feel tension and wanted to clear it up with Kevin. Kevin said they do need to talk, but not right now. Kevin again refused and said he was going to go get dressed for the match. He then told Cody not to interfere in their match later after Owens left. Orton said it would be 4-on-2 if the Tongans got involved, and if that happens, he'd love to have Cody's help. So he then said he would go talk to Kevin Owens. Again, show long storyline. This has been really good stuff from SmackDown lately, especially with Roman Reigns not there tonight. It was really good stuff. AJ Styles is coming back next Friday. Great. This show has really missed him. It'll be interesting to see how he's positioned because he hasn't been seen since he lost the I Quit match to Cody Rhodes at Clash at the Castle. Speaking of AJ Styles, Michin, formerly with the OC, now they've all kind of gone their separate ways. So Michin takes on Chelsea, not on Chelsea Green, on Piper Niven. She's taking on Chelsea Green next week. Apparently, Chelsea brings out a trash can, and whatever was in it just was nasty. So I was a little bit nervous that they were going to go very Vince McMahon in this segment, and whatever was in that garbage can was going to get dumped on somebody, which I don't want to see. I went through the days of where they put dog food on Roman Reigns, so I'm thankful that didn't end up this way. Piper, this was a good little match. Piper, is very good. It's a shame that she has to always be taking these losses going into a lot of these matches. But Michin, near the end of this match, she goes up to the top rope. Piper knocked her to the floor with a right hand. Chelsea jumped up on the apron. Piper rolled to the floor, tried to hit a cannonball, but she missed Michin and goes right into the trash can. So we never found out what was in it. It just was garbage. So Michin then knocks Chelsea off the apron, and then she lands Eat Defeat on Piper for the win. So Michin gets the win. This was expected. It sucks that Piper has to get roped in, but I understand that she's, Chelsea's heavy bodyguard, but it's like you'd like to see Piper to get booked a little bit better. But you know what? I'm not complaining that much because Michin is getting some level of push. He's getting featured consistently, and every single time that this woman in the last handful of months has had an opportunity to run with it, whether it be a championship match against Nia Jax, whether it be going to NXT to have it a street fight, whether it being in a ladder match for the first ever match for the North American Championship, the women's North American title, Michin has fucking knocked it out of the park, and I give her a ton of credit for staying ready. She was not utilized well in her first run, and it was looking pretty bad early on, but this is really been a bright spot for me in terms of the women's division, that they're utilizing Michin to really her fullest potential. So we hype up a lot of the stuff going on next week. Obviously, Bloodline, DIY, and Street Profits in a ladder match for the tag team titles the night before Bad Blood. So that'll be very interesting to see how that turns out. You have a 3-way ladder match. The Bloodline doesn't have to get pinned, even though it's Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga. Jacob Fatu's not in it, so I could see a scenario where we get new tag team champions. That would not be great, considering they're just hot-shotting the belts all over the place, and I've already gone at length about how I don't like how the tag team division's been built. So then backstage, it's Bayley, Naomi agree that once it was a little bit of a tense-filled segment because Naomi feigned that she was upset about losing, and then they both basically agreed, hey, when you win the title back, let's run this back. So that was great. So then Tiffany walks up, mocks Naomi about not getting a shot at Nia. Naomi said that since they're both free, she's going to go talk to Aldis, and next week we'll cheer her up. We'll have the match next week. So assuming that that's going to get made official for SmackDown in Nashville. And then we get the main event. This was really good. Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu versus Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. This was a fun match. Kevin and Solo laid on in this match. They fought on the turnbuckles in the corner. Owen shoved Solo into the ring and attempted a swanton, but Solo gets his knees up. Solo then followed up with a hip attack in the corner. And Solo and Fatu followed up with a second and third running hip attack. Owens is in a bad way. He's in a really bad way. Fatu and Sikoa kept Owens isolated until he took Solo off his feet with a lariat. Owens then dragged himself to the corner, fighting off Solo, holding his leg to make a tag. Orton then just goes roughshod. He hits a power slam on Solo. He hits a power slam on Fatu. By the way, there's a really good spot where basically Randy Orton earlier on in this match went over to do his signature, backdrop. I like to call it the Singh drop, because if you remember, the Singh brothers, the Bollywood boys, got dropped. One of them got flipped over, and he has this iconic look on his face. So he hits the backdrop once on Fatu, and Fatu just gets up right away, and just Randy hit him with 3 straight ones and effectively killed him. Which it's just amazing that they're building Jacob up as this monster, and it's great. So then Orton lines up and lands a draping DDT on Solo. He goes up for the RKO. Fatu jumps on the apron, which allows Solo to hit a Samoan drop. Solo then took a run at Randy. Orton pulled down the top rope, and Solo spills to the floor. Orton then tagged Owens, who dropped off the apron, landed a bunch of lariats and sentons. This was an amazing hot tag from KO. He then landed a swanton on Sikoa in the ring for a near fall. Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga show up, which allowed Sikoa to land a spinning Solo for a near fall. Cody then gets out there. He takes out Tonga and Loa. Orton lands the RKO on Tonga in the ring because Tonga gets involved for whatever reason. Fatu then lands a suicide dive on Cody on the outside. You think Cody's going to be eliminated from this situation, but Fatu then actually tossed Cody under the rope into the referee. And this was right after Kevin Owens hit a stunner on Solo and was getting ready to pin the new tribal chief, which he has not been able to do. This was a big point in this match. And so Jacob Fatu throws Cody into the referee. The referee's distracted. He can't make the count. So then Fatu just lands a series of super kicks on Owens, and Solo just rolls over onto KO on brand. The Bloodline gets the win. This was great. This was really good storytelling, really good stuff all around on the night. Owens shoved Cody. They teased an argument, but Orton entered the ring, calmed things down, and everybody hugged it out, and that was the end of the show. Baby steps here, baby steps, but I like where this is going. The way that Randy's getting cheers had me wondering at the start of this show, especially with the way a lot of people were saying that Cody sounded kind of heelish in that promo. I know it'd be hard to justify Cody as a heel, but it's going to be really interesting when it comes time to do Cody Randy, how the fans are going to react to this, because Randy is over, Cody is over, Kevin is over. Kevin's going to probably turn heel first. And then it's going to come down to, because Randy's impassioned promo saying Cody is the one person that Randy can that he can trust. So it's just a lot of really good storytelling on this show. Only 4 matches, but this was a really solid show, given the fact that Roman Reigns was not there at all on this show. He's going to be there next week. I'm assuming he's going to be there next week. And then there's a whole bunch of dates after Bad Blood that he's going to just become full-time Roman, which is just wonderful to see. So yeah, that's SmackDown. We'll have a lot more content up here later in the weekend. A lot of interesting stuff going on in the world of professional wrestling. A lot of stuff going on in the world of sports. It's the perfect blend of sports and sports entertainment here on the Off the Mic Sports Network. And thanks for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe here on the channel, OT Mike Sports, if you want to follow the channel, and Off the Mic 28 if you want to follow me. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.